There we go. All right, we are live on a Friday night. Hello to anybody and everybody. Welcome back to CCR Carolina Classic, and it is a true classic here tonight. Aero88 in action for the penultimate race of this current season, Nashville Superspeedway. This is going to be a pretty good race here from the looks of it. Very competitive track, a very tire-eating track, so strategy is going to be a part in this one tonight. We'll be seeing a fuel window in the realm of about 25 to 30s, anywhere really in that ballpark, probably. Also about 28 from what Jeff Habak was telling me. So we'll see how that will play into it, but it will be a 75-lap event here tonight. CTS physics, of course, with it being Aero88. And a pretty healthy field here as well. I am counting 15 drivers. A couple of familiar faces from yesterday, a couple of faces that we did not see yesterday, and a very, very tight championship battle. And this is the penultimate race of the season, so this will set them up and into the finale race at Texas World, which will be next week and will indeed be broadcast here on the channel. So keep an eye out for that, but we're going to be watching for that tonight. Coming into this race, one single point separates the top two in the standings, that being Biscuit with the point lead in the 97, Den Francesconi in the 16 is second. And with this points format being pretty much 1 point per position, plus obviously laps led bonuses and most laps led bonuses, I think that this could prove to be pretty interesting. Obviously, we'll see where they qualify. CCR Bandit is 18 points back, so definitely in it with a chance at this championship. We'll see what he's going to be able to do tonight, especially with a new wheel. He's just telling me he's got a new wheel, so see how things end up turning out for the race. And then you got to go a little bit down there. 30 points back is Donald Ritchie. So theoretically, might be able to get it. Might be able to get into possible contention if the top two guys end up in trouble and he's able to get a good result. But realistically, you're looking at the top three in it with a championship chance. Ryan Johnson is fifth in points, but he will not be here tonight. He's been the king this season with 3 wins, but has missed a couple of races, so that's why he's further back in the points. Matter of fact, just kind of looking through the standings here, Biscuit with 2 wins on the season out of the 9 races that have been run so far. Den Francesconi with 1 win. Of course, Ryan Johnson with 3. Jeff Habak got a win, as have Ken Hansen and Jason Dolfer also was able to get a win as well in the 63 machine. Don't think Jason's here. Still, a very healthy field. And the field will be led off by Jeff Habak, Tower, as he's called, in the 101. He will lead them off to green after getting the pole position with a 31.096, 2 thousandths quicker than Den Francesconi, who will be starting in second. Greg Stenzo will start in third. Bandit fourth. Looks like he was able to find something there. CCR Jose is going to be starting in P5 in the number 3, the Speedy Gonzalez machine that we remember from the last Aero88 race that we did for these guys back in Charlotte. Bumpus Connor will start 7th just behind CCR Tex in 6th. Kind of jumped over Tex there. It was my fault. Biscuit, point leader, starting 8th. Bob Dixon, Mr. Factoids, is in this race. He'll be starting 9th. Brad Otto will round out the top 10. Ken Hansen also took lap time. He will start 11th. Adam Simonik, Big Al, there's Donald Ritchie, and CCR Jax will be the full field for tonight. Again, Nashville Super Speedway night version, track that, from what I understand, will be quite the tire eater. And again, as we said, there will be some strategy at play in that regard. Fuel window should make this a pretty easy two-stopper if we go green. Got just a couple minutes left here in happy hour. I will be flying solo for this race, but I know that if, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens to him, but if something does happen to CCR Bandage, he will be jumping into the booth with us. Happy hour officially underway here. I think they just had a quick little drivers meeting there. A couple cars that I am missing as far as the paint schemes go, so apologies for that, but they at least still have somewhat of a design to them, which is pretty cool. While these guys are running out happy hour, I'm very quickly going to actually adjust the fan that I have running over there because I was getting hot, and now I've turned it on, and now I am very chilly all over again, so bear with me, everybody. Alright, got that all sorted out. Begin with the 15-car field and CTS physics. There will be some draft to play, I think, in the early going. Outside lane, definitely not where you want to be. Very minimal grip if you get above the dark patch on the track. So that'll be something to watch out for. Big mile-an-hour difference potential. Guys getting different runs at different times. You don't have to lift very much on the short run. These guys are only going for about 175 down to about 164.5 through the corner. At least that's on the short run. Obviously, the long run, I think that is going to greatly change. I think this should prove to be a pretty good race. Actually, let's go ahead and get some live pictures here. This is happy hour, so everyone's just getting in their last few reps here. Of course, it is open setup. Realistic damage. This series does not run realistic weather. It is set to clear 60 degrees. As we are currently focusing on Adam Simonic there in the 016. Bandit in the 00 just ahead of him. Big Al there in the 69. A beautiful Steelers machine. Go Steelers. If you follow football that closely, of course. Funny, post-race, I was talking to Alex about that last night, and I said that, yes, if I do have to choose a team that I root for, it would absolutely be Pittsburgh. Because, sorry for the stream freezing there we go. And that's just because everyone in my family roots for the Eagles, and yet Pittsburgh is also a Pennsylvania team, so I'm just like, you know what? That'll be my team. But ultimately, I don't follow football that closely. There's Biscuit, point leader. Little door hit there with Jose. Jack's coming out of the pits there. That's the 034, the Hardy's machine. Greg Stenzo. Gorgeous Marlboro colors there. McLaren reminiscent. From back in the 80s and early 90s. Bob Dixon. Mr. Factoids himself. Bob Dixon, of course, known for his factoids. After any race that he's in, he'll pull up the top 5 fastest laps, read them out, and read out every everybody who led laps and how many they led. Seems pretty cool. Ken Hansen, the Coors car. Ford Thunderbird. I love seeing all these different manufacturers. Greg Stenzo taking a slightly altered approach on the pit lane. Pit road speed appears to be 45 miles per hour. Pit road looks like it could be pretty aggressive coming in. Not going to be super crazy as far as difficulty, at least based on what I'm seeing. But obviously, I haven't run any laps, so I could be full of nonsense with that. So we are just about to get this party started here as happy hour is winding down. It's going to be a relatively short race. Of course, these guys here at CCR tend to run usually in the 20 to 25% range for the races. Other leagues, you'll see generally 30%, maybe even as high as 35, like Hobo does. Of course, Hobo will be heading to Las Vegas, the game track, on Tuesday night. Tomorrow, Prime Time Racing League. Of course, their regular super speedway coverage from Daytona and Talladega. And then Fast from Vegas on Sunday night. So the packed schedule continues here. We'll be back with these guys here at CCR next Friday for the finale of this series. That will be at Texas World. As the field is getting gridded up, I will hop on and off track, and we will get a look at what we've got here for tonight's event. And Jeff Havoc starting on pole. Then you've got the very, very tight championship battle between both the 16 and the 97. Bandit very much in that, though, in that 00. So keep an eye out for that. Just before we get going here, I'm just going to fix one thing here with my lap counter, and we will be ready to go. One issue with this particular lap counter is it tends to... Oh, there we go. Little smiley face. Didn't even mean to do that. That's funny. But, and so one issue with it is kind of with how you have to set it up. You kind of end up with that little bit showing. But then if you cut it off and it's like a triple-digit number of laps in the race, well, then you're going to have a problem because then it'll get cut off. So you kind of don't have a choice but to at least leave it a little bit exposed like that. But hey, in this case, we just have a little smiley face for the first 10 laps. But then once we get on to lap 10, then that should go away. Hopefully it'll be, it'll look smooth. And after what has been a very rough couple of days here, it's great to be back for another broadcast once again. With Power, Jeff Havoc, and Den Francesconi, last night's winner in incredible fashion at Daytona in the Cup Series. He will be starting on the outside. Greg Stenzo, the Bandit, and then Jose and Tex. The first 3 rows, 15 drivers, bringing us to the green flag. And we are about to throw it. Here we go. For the second to last time this season, the green flag will fly, and the championship battle is on. You guys were getting a little squirrely there through 1 and 2, but they were able to hold on to it so far, it looks like, although still some tight quarters, as Jeff Havoc will lead the first lap. I believe Donald Ritchie may have missed the start, as he is just now coming onto the racetrack. But Havoc with the lead. Francesconi, though, already closing up on him. As they hit about 175 going into the corner. And through the corner, a very conservative 159, 160 through there. Saving those tires. That is important. We already had a spinner off of 4. That's another thing that these guys are mentioning. Turn 4 could be the trouble spot. Actually, maybe that could have been what happened to Donald. I'm not really sure. Because everybody looks like they're still close together. As top 3 have broken away a little bit here. Jose, though, trying to close. Yeah, he's running a little bit harder than everybody up here in the top 3, so he's closing in quickly. We'll just have to see if that'll be sustainable or not. Greg Stenzo just got by Bob Bisconnor there. Actually, I think they held position, so both those guys were able to get by Tex. So Stenzo up into a top 5, but they're getting a little loose there off of 2. Taking them up front here. Top 4 now all under a blanket as Jose is really pushing that thing. Looking like he's got a good short run car, but again, he is pushing those tires way harder than everybody else. His fastest lap already a half second quicker than everyone else's. Again, though, will that pace be sustainable for the 3? That's what you got to find out here, and you got to manage to hold that speed on a track like this where tires will start to pretty much fall apart on you if you're not careful. Bob Dixon up into the top 10, currently 8th. It's Biscuit 9th and Simonic 10th. So advantage Francesconi right now, at least for that points battle. Ooh! Jose had quite the run there, but came a little too early for him and he had to back out of it. All right, now Stenzo's closed and Bisconnor's there and Tex are there as well. This Bisconnor's going to get a run here on Stenzo. He's going to try to make the move here on the front straightaway. That is for a top 5 position. 38 will get it. Nice move there for the blue and black Goodwrench machine at Monte Carlo. But again, though, are they eating up their stuff in order to close in? Or are they playing it properly here and maybe they realize, oh, hey, there might be a little more speed in these things and we can maybe push it a little bit earlier on. Kurt, my man, what's up? Thanks for stopping in. The Coast Guard Chevrolet continuing to lead of Jeff Tower Havoc. Whoa, up the track. Bandit going way high. It's going to open the door for the 3. And yeah, Jose's going to take that spot. No problem, it looks like. Jose's driving an Audi. I think you'd see an Audi in the Aero88 mod. Ooh, Bandit getting loose. I could see that car starting to kick there just a little. He mentioned that to me. He said that, especially off of 4. That thing was wicked loose. He's got that new wheel. Now I'm starting to think that maybe it's not quite holding up here on these tires. We're already a little more than a third of the way through this fuel run, so tires will start to come into play. As the 00 washes up the track, is he going to get a big run for the 38 of Bisconnor? And Bisconnor's going to, try to cross him over. Wow, that could have been ugly. Holy schmoly. Great car control there by both guys, especially Bisconnor. That could have been see ya later. As Greg Stenzo also starting to drop back. But Jose is still maintaining great speed despite how hard he was pushing that thing for a while. Francesconi has remained content behind this 101. They're just playing the long game here. Jose certainly isn't, though. He's got a bit of a run. He's going to take advantage. He's going to try the outside. Don't think that's really going to be the place you want to do it. Not at this particular version, at least. They're already catching a lap car. That's Donald Ritchie. No, Ritchie's probably hoping for a yellow flag at any time. Try to get back up there and in contention. I believe he is, he's only one down at the moment, so if they catch him, it would be two down. Ooh. Tower way up the track. Does Francesconi take advantage of this run? Nope, remains where he's at. So once again, top three are broken away. The top three now is just shifted by one car. Is Francesconi, yeah, he's got some great runs here. I think he's got to take advantage at some point. Looks like he's going to try for it. We keep it to the quarter panel. Oh, he's going to get close. It's going to force Jose to check up there, but they remain as they are. As Tech's bringing it down pit road, I think he already brought it down. He might be serving a penalty here. I'm not sure what happened to the guy who started 6th. He's taking service now, so unknown what's going on there with the Aero88. Certainly not something that he was planning. Bumpus Connor kind of on an island right now by himself. And you got Bandit and Stenzo, 5th and 6th. And then you go a little ways back here to Ken Hansen, who's found his way up into 7th. And it's looking pretty sporty here on the long run. Big Al, same thing. Running 8th. Bob Dixon and Biscuit are currently the top 10. As Tex comes back out onto the racetrack. All those guys that I was just looking at, they're like 6th, 7th, 8th. They're actually running quicker than these top 3 by a couple tenths. You can kind of get a comparison here. 31.4 for all these guys. 31.7, 31.9, 8, and then a 4 and a 2 for Big Al. The 69 was actually the quickest car on the track that particular lap. But only lap 16. Still got quite a few laps to go here. Currently 60 laps to go. Francesconi's going to take a full head of steam here. Take it to the apron. Did not leave that lap, but he's almost certainly going to leave this one. He's going to get that position. And to the point. Second in points. Is just taking the race lead, with the current points leader coming into this race running all the way back in 10th. That's big for the 16. See if he can go back-to-back here on the channel. Jose's going to try to follow suit here and take second place, and he will do so. Habak now just going to focus on trying to keep with them. Impressive run here from Jose, considering how hard he was pushing it those first couple laps. And not much of a difference as far as pace goes here on what has now turned into a fairly long run. And these guys should be pitting probably in about 10 laps, maybe less, depending on how they opt to strategize it. But yeah, as they run, most of these guys have only lost about half a second. So they actually haven't lost a whole lot of time with the tire wear, as they put Donald Ritchie a second lap down. I think Habak's starting to struggle. You see him kind of washed up the track. And he's starting to lose touch with those top 2, especially now with a lap car in front of him. Well, now he'll get by. Up is kind of running 4th. And these two, Ken Hansen and Big Al, my goodness, they are making some hay. They've got the long run cars. Now up to 5th and 6th, respectively. Greg Stenzo is now 7th. And washing up the track there, that could open the door for Biscuit, who just took 8th from Bandit. Could get another position. Bob Dixon's now trying to make a move here on that 00. Wow, it actually powers around the outside here pretty well. Well, can't quite hold that speed. Yeah, Bandit is definitely struggling now. He's probably thinking, man, get me to a pit stop, please. And make some adjustments. At least if there's one benefit of open setup races, you can make those adjustments on the fly. Jack's pushing up almost into him. Oh, nearly losing it there off of 2. As those corner exits, when the springs unload, just like in real life, even in the simulator, you will notice it. As Bob Visconti is now under threat from these guys behind him. Tell you what, this is very promising for both of them in this long run if this race continues to go green. Second up front here, 16 and 3 remain as they were. Coming to lap 24. Jose, a little bit of a run here. He's not going to take advantage of it quite yet, it looks like. And now Jeff Havoc kind of piled in all by himself in 3rd place. Donald Ritchie, again, laps down. Pretty sure he has actually jumped ahead of Tex, who had to pit, I think, a couple times due to a penalty and maybe short pitting. But with Biscuit up to 7th, remember, this 97 is the points leader coming into this race, albeit, yeah, by only 1 point, as Havoc is going to short pit it. Try to go a little off sequence here and try to undercut those top 2. So pit window is open. But kind of back to the point I was making about the 97. He knows that his closest rival is now leading this race, and even as they run, that would put him in quite the hole heading to Texas World, a track that is all but a super speedway. So there's a whole lot of unknowns that go into that. Already 26 laps complete of 75, so we are at 75 laps to go. 75. 50. 50 laps to go. My fault. Just kind of waiting on when these top 2 are going to pit. Jose all over the bumper of the 16's. Got to get out of the gas to not get into him. And we got one blowing it up, and it's, oh, factoids. Caution. Not yet. Field still showing green. But man, after he was looking like he was going to have a great run going. It was great to see Bob Dixon out here. Oh, man. The game decided to bite one. And unfortunately, it's going to be Bob Dixon's night over. So no yellow. And Biscuit is in. You're on lap 27, coming to 28. Most everybody else has still stayed out so far, it looks like. Including the top 3. Or top 2, rather. Yeah, I guess that also goes for the top 3 because Bob Visconti is now scored in 3rd. Ken Hansen and Big Al 4th and 5th. Now, for these top 2, with the fact that Jeff Havoc has pitted, they are losing a lot of time right now. However, once they pit, they should be able to make that right back up again, because they will end up on the fresher tires. So that's the give and take when it comes to trying to overcut and undercut. You overcut it, you pit later. You know that you're going to be trying to run those guys back down, but you're costing yourself track position in the short term. from when you come back onto the track. The undercut, you're gaining that track position right away, but then you got to find a way to manage it so that you don't end up losing so much time to guys like this. So we'll see what that will do for Jeff Havoc as Bandit's coming off pit road. I believe Greg Stenzo also pitted. As we saw Biscuit on pit road. Top 5 remain as they are and continuing to run. Although it looks like we may see Jose coming in from P2. Gets her down to pit road speed, no problem. Ken Hansen and Big Al also going to come in. As Connor stays out along with the race leader, Dan Francesconi. See if he can try and manage that gap, kind of like we were talking about with that overcut, but he is bringing it in this time, being a little more conservative with the pit entry. Hey, play it safe. Nothing wrong with that. Although we'll see how much time that cost him. There's Bisconnor. So with pit stops starting to wrap up, well, obviously going to have to wait and see where everybody cycles out. There's Tex. He pitted really early and is actually multiple laps down. Valve failure listed for Bob Dixon is going to end his night. Brutal there for Bob. So now the million-dollar question, who emerges where? As another engine has gone kaput, and this time it's Adam Simonik, and I actually don't think that was a random. That looks like that may have been a crash. But again, no yellow flag. As Jeff Havoc retakes the lead here, you saw him breeze by Francesconi there. And Ken Hansen will do the same thing as he pitted on the same lap as Jose. I'm trying to see where Jose ended up. Hope he didn't get a speeding penalty. Actually, no, he is going to end up ahead. So it looks like Jose found just the right in-between in terms of staying out long, but not too long. Francesconi stayed out the longest. Jeff Havoc now second. He's going to be on the oldest tires. And Ken Hansen has also jumped the 16. Again, also, I mean, it could play into Francesconi's conservative pit entry. And hey, running fourth and on the freshest tires is a heck of a lot better than looping it on pit entry. And you also got to remember, he's probably more worried about one driver and one driver only. And that's this driver, the 97. There are now only 2 positions separating them, albeit with Francesconi's advantage of now having laps led. If my math serves me correctly, I wanted to say that as they run, they would be tied. Either that, or Francesconi would have the 1-point lead. And in a Texas World. Of course, that's as they run, and we are just now getting up to the halfway point. So, still plenty of time to sort all this out. And again, he is on the freshest tires of everybody here in the top 5. With Bob Bisconnor rounding out said top 5. Credit to Ken Hansen get up to 3rd place. That 94 seems like it's got a great long run setup. Paying dividends. We saw him and Big Al making up a lot of track position during that run. Big Al has not quite stuck with Ken, but is still running 7th. Top 10 rounded out by Greg Stenzo, Jax, and Bandits. Unfortunately, as he's running right now, he may have to hope for a caution, but as they run right now, This will bring that championship down to most likely just 2 guys, and that being the 97 and 16. 16 is clicking off some of his personal bests, but still not really pushing it all that hard. A lot of these guys have gotten laps into the 30-second range. Meanwhile, Francescone's fastest lap is still in the 31s. So he's still playing it pretty safe there, as Brad Otto is going to go a lap down there in the 47. Hey, that's my number. We'll have 35 laps to go next time by when Jose crosses the line. But man, that number 3 is looking really, really strong right now with a 3.2 second lead. And a setup that has helped him push this car a little bit harder than everyone else can without running it down to the rims, pretty much. Something that unfortunately Jeff Havoc is experiencing at the moment. Those old tires are starting to bite him. And that undercut that he benefited oh so much from is now going to start to suffer, and he's going to probably lose both these positions. So Jeff back to 4th. And Hansen now to 2nd. With the car that Ken has, things may have to go his way, but certainly would not rule him out of this race whatsoever. But of course, we've already had 2 engine failures. Or at least one, or 1 and 1 crash. Potentially. Obviously, we'd have to go back and look to see what happened there to Simonic. Yeah, it's showing accident. I think while we at least have a little bit of a lull for the time being, we can maybe at least have a quick glance at what happened to Simonic. So that's what I'll do here now. So he pits on lap 32, coming to 33. This is him coming off pit lane. And on the flat, just loses it. Bam! Realistic damage does him in. Cutting back live. And Francescone all over the back of Ken Hansen now. I feel like Francescone's probably thinking, yeah, I could probably try to take advantage of this. Ken and Den both closed by 0.3 that lap on Jose. And Den with a bit of a run there. Is he going to try to go for it? He is. Ken's going to give him that inside lane and let him have it pretty easily there. I think they both know, hey, we've got decent cars here. We might be able to close in. 0.4 gained by Francescone that time. Ken Hansen, of course, matched that lap time, just letting him by. So that gap has come down a little bit. It's still over 3 seconds. There's still another pit stop to go. That pit window should be opening very shortly. Probably about 5 laps is when you may be looking at that window being open. And then you can pit whenever you want. I mean, we're already at 30 laps to go, so you can pit now if you wanted, and you'll be good to make it to the end, no problem. You might just be suffering toward the end of the race if you do that. Your Jose, though, all you want to do is just keep it clean. Try and get yourself a W. He has not won yet this season, so he would add his name to the list of winners, which is actually quite extensive for a 9-race season. Ryan Johnson with 3 wins. Can't remember who had 2. I think it may have been Biscuit, who is still running 6th. Pretty much in a dead heat right now with this Connor. Credit to Bob here. He's doing great there in P5 and is really not floundered that top 5. throughout this whole race. So a very good, consistent run here for that 38. They are catching the 101, who I think is, again, kind of screaming, "Get these tires off of me." Francesconi pulling a little bit away from Ken Hansen. Of course, worth noting that Den does have the freshest tires of everyone in the top 5. So Jose is caught up to Jax now. Going to put him a lap down. That's 10th place going a lap down. Again, only 15 starters. Francesconi gets by the 11th place Brad Otto. Did close a couple more tenths that last lap, so the gap is definitely shrinking. It is down to 2.2. Don't think it's going to close that much by the time the pit stops roll around, but that could make strategy interesting. Strategy's already been pretty interesting, and this one is Bandit's going to go a lap down now in 9th at Pepsi 00. Going to hope for a bit of a miracle here in order to keep himself in the championship hunt. Coming around to 25 laps to go in this race that is breezing on by here. It's been clean and green the whole way. Well, green at least. And of course the one incident with Simonic. But otherwise, been looking pretty darn good. Just the blown engine for Bob Dixon. Francesconi continuing to chip away a little bit at that number 3's lead. And Hansen's starting to slip back a little bit, but still running a very, very solid 3rd. And now Bisconner and Biscuit have gotten by the 101, who I think may have pitted. Yep, there he is. At 52, when do you make the decision? If you're Jose, I might be starting to think about it, because that gap is shrinking in a hurry. It was almost 3.5 seconds at one point. It is now just 1.5 seconds. Or if you're Francesconi, when do you make the move? Do you stay out and go for that overcut strategy, kind of like we're seeing play out right now? Or do you short pit and try to jump him even before anything can be done? Never quite know what the right strategy call is. Kind of checking on through here. Everyone's still looking pretty stagnant. Big Al actually short pitted there by quite a bit. At least compared to how long he stayed out the first run. And hey, with only 23, 24 laps to go, kind of within that realm, honestly, that's a pretty good spot to be pitting and saying, you know what, I'll still have some tire left at the end. Although, my goodness, look at this gap. It is all but non-existent now. Francesconi has caught the 3. I think maybe that pushing as hard as he was, maybe finally starting to bite him just a little bit. But again, we are within the pit window now. 21 laps to go. Either of these guys can pit whenever they want. They'll be good to go. It's just a matter of how long do you push it on this run. They're both going to stay out again. Just checking further back here, we're going to see pit stop here for both Jax and Otto. And I think the 97 as well. He's going to be a little more bold coming in here and could pay dividends there for that 97. Remember, he is well and truly in this championship battle as Ken Hansen brings it off of pit lane. He's short pitted compared to these two, so we'll see if maybe he can gain some ground and try to reinsert himself back into the fight for the race win. And now Francesconi seems to have leveled off. That gap has stabilized. Dirty air could also be playing into that. That is absolutely a thing in this game. But when do you make the move? This basically comes off of pit lane here. Single point leader coming into this race. He's been on the back foot compared to the 16 throughout tonight, but he still should be on point for a good finish. Top two continue to stay out. You know who this is benefiting? That's Ken Hansen. As Ken's now eaten into that gap that had grown quite a bit before he pitted. So now he's going to try and undercut these guys. So this is well and truly on for the race win. Obviously, we will wait and find out. Once these two pit, who will emerge where? Both these guys were able to go just past lap 30 on the first run. Francesconi about a lap or two longer than what Jose did. Still think the 16's looking just a little bit quicker, but I think that's just a couple of lap tire difference. If you're Den, and if you're Jose, when do you make the move? You're coming to 15 laps to go. I gotta be thinking that it's gotta be imminent. Donald Ritchie pits. This Connor's on pit road. And here goes Jose. He will be the first. Got a safe coming in there. But that's big. Because that means that he's going to be undercutting the 16 and building that gap. But again, will the 16 then be able to reel him back in? I mean, heck, he reeled him in a ton there by 3 seconds. But now, is he going to have enough time? I think he's going to have to respond here. Oh, yeah, he is. He's going to be a little more aggressive, trying to bring it down pit road. Nope, too late. Think we have a caution? We do. Well, everything I was just saying is now on its head. Caution for the first time tonight, and it comes with 15 laps to go. I think Francesconi was just about to pit, and then the caution came out, and he said, nope. I'm struggling to see what this caution's for. Let's find out. And then we'll try and sort out scoring. Let's have a look. The caution is out at this point. No, that's not it. Don't tell me the game threw a debris caution. Oh, no, it didn't. Big Al loops it in turn 4. He had already pitted. He was just out of jacks. And the 69 is going to go for a harmless slide and actually a very nice 360, but it was in the racing line. There was traffic coming. Game puts out the caution flag. And now everything changes. And I say that because I believe Jen Francesconi was the only car on the lead lap at that point in time. So he brings it off pit road. Everybody's going to have no choice but to wave around. Yeah, scoring here is going to be a nightmare. Unless they don't allow for wave arounds. I can't remember. Because I know that last night, I think something like this came up. I'm pretty sure that the rule is that they don't do lucky dogs. Wave around, I'm not sure, although everybody is pitting, so honestly that might say that, yep, it is not a rule that you get the wave around in this series. Either that or they've decided to prioritize tires over everything else, which honestly I don't blame them. Again, we'll see when we get the one to go what the lineup is going to look like. We know that Dan Francescone's race leader, and that's going to be the case no matter what. The only question mark being, is he racing anybody? I'll wait till we get to one to go to officially take a look at where everybody's lined up, what lap they're on, and try to paint a better picture here. See if we get the one to green here. This is the first caution of this whole race, so props to these guys on a pretty challenging track to go as long as we have. And yeah, Jeff Havoc and Biscuit are not going around the pace car, so it looks like wave arounds do not apply either. So that means that both those guys are going to be praying for a yellow flag, like rapid fire. 16 is the race leader. And mind you, Havoc and Biscuit are third and fourth in this race. It's like, come on. And yet they're going to be ahead of the leader on the tail end of the lead lap. Jose is on the lead lap, racing with the 16, albeit he's got traffic in front of him for days. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars to pass in order to get up to the 16. Ten laps to go when we take the green flag here. What do you do if you're Francescone? My goodness, what a weird scenario that has ended up playing out because of this caution flag. Late green flag, it looks like. And not the best restart. Francescone is actually going to get passed by the 00, albeit that doesn't matter. That is not for position. Oh, he's got a nice corner there, though. But again, though, he's not racing any of these guys. He is racing that 3 car, and the 3 car has already picked off a few. Oh, Havoc into the wall. Oh, we're going 3 wide. I wouldn't recommend that. Because you got the 2 championship rivals here. First and third, albeit Biscuit is running 3rd place on the tail end of the lead lap. Francescone's right behind him. There are 3 cars separating the 3 of the 16, and the 101 is going to crash hard. And this is not over. Take a look and see what happened to Tower. Was it contact? Oh, just a smidge. Just came down a bit there on Jax. And yeah, realistic damage taking that hard of a hit. Yeah, that'll do it. Probably won't kill your race, but certainly kill your speed. We'll get one more quick look. Yeah, a little better angle here. Yeah, Jax wasn't quite all the way down the line, but he was pretty darn close, so And kind of the natural line of the racetrack kind of brought those two together. And the pole sitter out of the race. Biscuit is saying, holy crap, I can't believe it. As, whoa, Francesconi just really slowed up there. Holy moly. So now, you've only got one car separating the 3 and the 16, who are now both on even tires, by the way. Biscuit's back on the lead lap, albeit he's going to be, it looks like he pitted, so he may have actually, he scored 6th at the moment. Look at the standings here. Wait, he did fall a lap down? That's a little confusing there, because I know for sure he was ahead of the 16, unless they passed him and I didn't even see it. Either way, though, Francesconi now has a clean racetrack ahead of him. You still got to worry about that 3 car. Ooh, oh boy. Now he's really got to worry about him. Bandit decides to pit and says, hey, you know what? I'm getting out of Dodge. I am going to let you guys fight it out. Everybody that's a lap down is doing that. And how the cookie crumbles sometimes when it comes to cautions at certain points. Ken Hansen is scored 3rd. Of course, everybody's pitting now, so... Or at least doing a drive-through just to get out of the way of the leaders. So the scoring will shift again. Oh, Jax, hold on. Good avoiding job there by Stenzo. Couple of very fast cars. Oh, this could get spicy. We've got ourselves a shootout to end this thing. After a good long green flag run of 60 laps. And 2 cautions in the last 10. I believe it'll be 4 laps to go when we take the green to get this party back going. 16 versus 3 for the race win. It is looking pretty much locked up at this point now for Francesconi to take that point lead heading into Texas World. Barring something crazy. I think Biscuit be 5th or 6th here. Let's see what it says here at the line. Yep, P5. So definitely going to be a shift. But still, that should keep it pretty close heading into Texas World. I think by my estimate, it would probably be about 7-8 points that Francesconi would have the advantage, if he manages to win this, of course. We will find out officially in 4.5 laps time. '16 Den Francesconi looking to go 2 in a row, 2 nights in a row, I should say. Of course, them both being live streamed here, which is pretty cool. But he's got to hold off this hard charge and Speedy Gonzalez Audi of Jose. Of course, a lot of positions to play for there if you're a lap down. Greg Stenzo has scored 3rd at the moment. But everybody, 3rd through 6th. Definitely a lot to play for there. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. What kind of restart do these two get? Jose to the outside. It's not going to be the place trying to make the move. He can try and at least get some momentum on his side. As the gap extends for the 16. Bandit all over the tail of the 3. Again, that is not for position. Ooh, big corner there for Jose. May even have to check up a little bit and wash up the track. 3 laps to go. Biscuit on the move. Gonna take 4th place from Big Al. Again, points, points, and more points. That is big. Check it on through the rest of the field there, making sure we're still clean, and so far, so good. Jose with another great corner there. Yeah, these are going to be some of their fastest laps, I would imagine, because now it's just go crazy. 2 laps to go. Does Jose have anything for that 16? Pushing it with everything he's got. He is getting some small runs, but he's got to get something a little bit more than this. Problem, I think, for Bob is Connor. They're actually catching up to him, but here we go to the white flag. The 3 is still there. Not over yet as they race on further back for 3rd. Greg Stenzo still has it. It's going to have to hold off the 97. The 3, he's got one more chance. He's got him, again, that small run that benefits him. But he's got to find a way to do it here through 3 and 4. Right on the tail to 16. Going to keep him there. And the 16, Dan Francesconi, goes 2 nights in a row in victory lane. And will take the point lead heading into the finale of the season. Good job by both guys, himself and Jose. 3rd place will actually go to Big Al. Well, something happened back in here. Whoa. Oh, you're messing around there a little bit. Biscuit will emerge in 4th. I'm gonna want to see what happened there for 3rd place. That looks like that could have been interesting. In the meantime, though, there is the 16, burning it down for the 2nd night in a row. Both times in a shootout fashion. Yet this time, he leads a little more than the last couple 100 yards. He leads the most laps on the night. Scony.com, burning it down. Awesome stuff. Taking a quick little glance here to see what exactly happened. I know Greg Stenzo was there in 3rd place. So this is on the last lap. While we were watching him battle for the win, Greg Stenzo running 3rd. Oh, washes up the track into the wall. Oh, boy.
User joined your channel.
Can't believe he didn't crash it. But we'll end up losing a...
User joined your channel.
We'll end up losing a couple positions there. As, oh my gosh, everybody's coming down here.
Hey, Andrew, Tex asked me to come on up here and try and give you all the factoids first.
I saw you here. I was subtly hoping that we could do that, but have at it, my friend. Bob Dixon with the first ever factoids on the channel.
All right, thank you so much. We're looking at the top 5 fastest laps. Top 5 fastest laps of the night. An honorable mention was Ken Hansen. 5th place was Bob Bistoner. Bob did a 30.961 second lap. That's 154.995 mile per hour. Lap 5. 4th was Big Al. Big Al did a 30.956 second lap. That's 155.020 mile per hour, lap 8. Third was Jose Creed. Jose did a 30.872 second lap. That's 155.442 mile per hour, lap 3. Second was Stenzo. Stenzo did a 30.851 second lap. That's 155.548 mile per hour for lap 5. And the fastest lap of the night goes to Tex. Tex did a 30.840 second lap. That's 155.603 mile per hour for lap 4.
User left your channel.
And the most laps led tonight was our winner, Jen Franciscioni. Jen did a 32 laps. Jose did 27. Jeff Havoc did 16. And that's your factoids for the night.
That's why we love having Bob Diggs around, man. It was great to see you out here tonight. Sorry about the valve giving out on you, but thanks for coming down, my man.
User left your channel.
Yeah, I'm motivated. It's all right. Look forward to seeing you guys serve with us later.
Hey, appreciate it, my man. Great run tonight.
Okay.
At least until it wasn't. Diggs in there, Mr. Fact.
User left your channel.
In the meantime, both of our top 2 finishers are here. I am going to start off with the second place. Jose, do you copy, my friend?
Absolutely, sir.
Hey, Speedy Gonzalez was looking very speedy indeed. You and as Bob mentioned there, you and Francisconi, you both led the majority of it. You both seemed to have the cars to beat, and once it came down to it, you two were the only finishers on the lead lap. Obviously, that was more down to pit stops, but all in all, though, was there anything else that you feel you could have done through 3 and 4 there to try to get by him?
It's impossible. This guy was fast. I'm telling you, the then was he was 4 seconds or 3 seconds behind me, and all of a sudden, the next thing I know, he's right back behind me. So he was fast. So it's impossible to catch. I mean, to pass a fast car. So, I mean, as long as he was behind me, it was okay. But as long as he went to the front, I was done. There's no way. I was completely done.
I guess the other question that comes to my mind is another thing that I noticed out of both of you guys was that it seems like you both had the cars really well under you. A couple other guys had maybe some little twitchy moments. But it seemed like the handling was there for the both of you guys. For you, Jose, how did the car feel for you tonight?
Oh, it was okay until a couple of moments. I have when I was in the lead, all of a sudden the car just decided to take off, and I don't know how I save it, but I save it. And then when I pit before the caution came in, and I had to get out of the pit, then all of a sudden my car just went sideways and it hit the wall and then come back down again, and I get the end of the longest line.
User joined your
Luckily,
channel.
everybody was allowed down that time, so that was good. But other than that, I mean, what I say, I mean, I guess I'm lucky to finish second.
Yeah, great run, man. And hey, we were looking at getting another winner on the season here, but still a great run for you here. Just before we let you go here, though, we'll let you have the floor here. We always let the podium finishers have the floor for a moment for any closing thoughts, shout outs, pretty much anything that you want. The floor is all yours, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I don't know. Listen, the only thing I know is that for the fact is it was an awesome race. I'm glad I can race with Dan and everybody. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm sometimes at the fastest, sometimes the slowest one, but I like to tweak my set as much as I can, especially on the run. Not not when we're not running, because you do not know what you got until you actually run behind somebody or somebody is behind you. So that's exactly what I tweak my cars, my set when I'm on the track or when we're racing. Sometimes comes out right, sometimes doesn't. So tonight was a perfect. I had a perfect set. I mean, which is I'm glad I did, but it's pretty good. I mean, and nice to see Dan back on the lead on the winning circle. He had it. He had it. He had it.
And you both had it all night long, and a great battle by the both of you. But Jose, great getting to talk to you, man, and hopefully we get to talk to you again in the future. It's always a pleasure. But for now, though, great race. Definitely got a lot to feel good about.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is the second place finisher. With that, we return it to Mr. 2 days in a row into victory lane. Dan, do your copy.
I got you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's like I was telling Jose, you both were class of the field, both led pretty much all the laps except for a small handful. So mad props to you. And now a pretty decent point lead with Biscuit, I think, finishing fourth. That gives you a pretty decent lead heading into Texas World. How are you feeling heading into a race like that?
Real good. The last championship in this series, it was between myself and Biscuit, and it was the same thing. I think it was 2 or 3 points, and we had to battle it out all the way to the last race, and I got
User
that one,
joined your channel.
fortunately. And he's a tough competitor, so it's always a pleasure to run against him.
User
And
left your channel.
looking forward to see what happens.
As am I. I'm grateful that I'm going to get to broadcast that one as well. Talk about tonight, though. I kind of asked this question to Jose, and I'll ask it to you as well. It seemed like that thing was pretty well hooked up. I mean, obviously you were bad fast, and you were able to stay out for quite a long time there, which I'm sure, which to me kind of gives off the idea that, oh yeah, you're feeling pretty confident in your car. How is it feeling throughout the night?
It was on a rail. This setup actually goes back to Jeff Habit gave it to me a long time ago. And before the race, I came in, I looked at my replays to see where I had been finishing because I didn't remember. And I looked and I had two replays of this mod, this track, and they were both wins, one in 23 and one in 25 earlier this year. So I thought, well, that setup must be pretty good. So I went and looked, and sure enough, it had Jeff's name on it. But I always take the setups if someone gives me one, unless I make it, and I tweak it because we can't all drive the same setup. So there's always something a little different. So I tweak it to fit my style. And the thing was on a rail. You said I could go a long ways. That was true. I could go all the way to the fuel run, and the right front was just slightly yellow by the end of it. So in fact, on that last run, I had the left sides checked off because that's how I got one of my wins here. Came in with 20 to go, only took right sides, and boom, just took it to the house. But this time that caution came out, I stayed out. I forced everybody to a lap down besides Jose. And so I switched it back to 4. I was like, well, I might as well get all 4 now. So that was the plan, and it worked out.
It worked out beautifully. It's sometimes fate follows your way like that, but even if it didn't, as you said, with the strategy, I think that was going to be one of your guys' races to lose. But yeah, that as I agree with Jose, you were bad fast out there. But at the end of the day, no matter whose setup it is, you got to be the one to drive it. You got a lot to be proud of on that one. And I will also ask you, now that I have you, about last night and that photo finish. I do just have to ask you about that real quick. What the heck was going through your mind at that point?
Well, on that if we back up that last restart with, I think it was like 3 laps or something, and we go to the prior caution where we were set up to have pitting, and then a caution came out with like 2 laps to go before we pitted. Anyway, we backed that second run up, or that second to last run up, and I was in 6th or 7th, and I thought, well, I had been keeping it clean all night, staying out of that fence. It was extremely slick. And I told people in practice, happy hour, and right before the green flag, watch it from the middle up. You're going to just slide up to the fence. It's super loose. So I was lifting and feathering through all the corners. I had a great set. And that second to the last pit before the last restart, I did a test run, and you may remember that I went from like sixth, I ran it all the way up to third, and then we had like 2 laps before pitting, so I didn't pressure the top two. They had been fastest all night. And so I wanted to see what I had. So anyway, we ended up pitting, and I restarted sixth. And when that thing got going, that was my plan to do the same thing. So I had to pass, 4 cars, but 2 in front of me, they got together and spun out of the way, but we raced back. And I think it was the white flag lap. And once I got to Rick, the 42, I was on the outside. I wanted to be up high and dive down to the corner, try to get a run on him and the 38. And he threw a block on me. And I think you guys said, I don't know how he hung on to that. I don't know either. That thing got crazy sideways. I almost lost it. Luckily, I got him on entry and middle of that corner. And I still had a ton of speed looking for Bisconer in the 38 on exit. And I just took that momentum to the outside. He didn't try to block. And I just ran right along his door to that finish. That's what happened.
Awesome. That was so freaking cool. And to lead just the last couple hundred yards there was a lot of fun to watch. But tonight, though, was a little more of a dominating fashion. So great win for you. Best of luck heading into a Texas World. We'll definitely be watching very closely what you and Biscuit are able to do. Of course, before we let you go, though, if you want to give the world of YouTube any closing thoughts, any shout outs, really anything you want, my man. Or not. No pressure. Just whatever comes to your mind, my man.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you. Well, shout out to you, man. These broadcasts are amazing. And your reaction and your partner's reaction last night when I watched it today, that was so cool. I was just as excited as you guys were. So that shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who runs here. Jose, what a hell of a night he had. He was pressuring me. And he was being really clean and racing me really clean because he knew about the points deal. But I told him, I said, Jose, at the end, when we were restarting, I said, I don't care if you're faster and I don't care if you pass me. Just do it clean, man. Please just do it clean.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so he always is. But I just threw it at him anyway. But he's always there. You can always trust running around him. Shout out to my wife. She makes all this stuff possible, keeps me healthy and moving along, and loves to come in here once in a while and see where I'm at and what I'm doing. Shout out to everybody in this league, Text, Tower, everybody who runs the show, Richie, Tim, all the admins that do a good job here, and all the racers who drive clean. We had 1 caution tonight.
User was moved out of your
So and shout out to my sponsor. You see on my card, Scony.com. That's my website. I think if you haven't seen it yet and you go see it, you're probably going to think, how the hell does he do this? And we'll save that for a later date. But I want you to see that first, and then we'll move on. So appreciate you, and it was a fun to get 2 in a row on your channel, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Hey, who knows? We could be 3 for 3. We'll find out what happens next week. I will definitely take a look at that as well. But awesome win, man. And big congrats. Best of luck, like I said. And in the Texas World, it's going to be awesome between you and Biscuit, seeing you guys go at it.
Sounds good. Thank you. Are you tied up broadcasting one tomorrow night?
I am broadcasting prime time tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Because I was going to say, hey, last minute, but we got a really cool race and track coming up tomorrow. So maybe we'll get that track another time. But thank you so much. It was a blast. I can't wait to see the broadcast in the morning.
Right on, my man.
All right. Good night, guys. Nice win, Mr. Dan, and we'll see it again. Hopefully we can shout out again and do some hard racing. So like we do, better than this. Okay. But good luck. You enjoy.
Thanks, man. Good job.
Andrew, I just want to take a second and congratulate Dan and Jose. They did a great job tonight. And I want to say thank you very much, Andrew, for doing these broadcasts because they're freaking awesome. Period.
Absolutely.
No, thank you, Bandit. I just having some fun with it, bringing it to the masses. It's so much fun. And that's what we're here to do. Just being a part of this big family. It's like I had mentioned pretty much at the end of the broadcast when I was doing it with Alex. Just being a part of the streaming side of it in any capacity has been very, very honoring, very humbling, and I'm grateful for every chance that I get to do it. So for you guys bringing me on board and everyone that's brought me on board, it's not taken lightly. It is taken very, very, it's taken very much to heart. So thank you, everybody, and thank you guys here at CCR for bringing me in for these. It's been awesome.
I got one more real quick shout. I want to say when I threw the admins out there, I forgot my boy Ryan Johnson. You know who he is, and he's hard to beat too. A lot of battles with him. He makes this league run great too. So shout out to him as well with the rest of them. So thanks, man.
Yeah, man. And yep, congrats to you, Dan, and thank you to everybody at CCR again. Hey, like I've said, we will be back with these guys in exactly 1 week for that championship finale at Texas World. We'll see who's going to be the season champ. Whether it'll be Dan, whether it'll be Biscuit, we'll find out. And who may be able to add their name to that wins tally, or if we'll get yet another repeat winner, such as Dan getting his second win of this current season, joining Biscuit on the two-time winners list, and then of course Ryan Johnson with the 3. Hopefully Ryan will also be able to make it too. That'll be pretty cool. Hoping to, of course, also see him on Tuesday night. But thank you guys again. I'll wrap it up here and just say thank you to those that tuned in. And we will see you guys tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for PRL, the Primetime Racing League. Until then, a good evening, and stay warm now that it's actually cooling down. Take care, all. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. All right.